What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggle's TV Daily Rewind. This is where we go back a week and give you all of your past week of tech news in one single video. And in this video, guys, we're doing it a little day later, releasing it a day later, because if you didn't see my information, my news yesterday, I talked about I have to release it a day later because we went to Disney and I got super tired. And that's why we're doing this now on a Tuesday, but usually it comes out on Monday morning. But we talk about Galaxy Z Fold 4, the Z Fold 3. We talk about the Vivo X Fold. We talk about the new Pixel watches coming out. We talk about Galaxy Watch. We talk about everything. So enjoy this week, and we'll see you in the next one. First story of the day is about a new processor coming out for Samsung Galaxy phones in the next couple of years. And this is gonna be, well, I guess let's check out the tweet and then we'll add on to that after that. So here's the tweet. It's coming from Ice Universe saying that Samsung has plans for a processor dedicated to the Galaxy phones to be used in the Galaxy S25 series in 2025. So you're looking at 3 more years from now, but it's looking at Samsung's gonna come out with their own specific processor just for Samsung Galaxy phones. Now they already make the Exynos processor, but it looks like they're gonna make something in addition to that because other phones do use the Exynos processor. Some use it on watches, some use it in their phones themselves. You look at Apple. Apple has their own dedicated processor, their A-series processor. Pixel kind of has their own processor, but it's basically made with the help of Samsung, but they still market it as their own processor, and then other companies do as well. So this is kind of a good thing. It adds more merit and a reason for you to buy a specific device, such as a Samsung phone. They can't, because how many companies use Snapdragon? A lot. Not that the Snapdragon's bad, it's great. But if you can say, hey, my processor does this, and it's more efficient with our software, and you get better battery life and better performance, and better gaming, more so than the Snapdragon processor, then that's a good selling point for them to use overall. And like I said, I just love it. I think this is a great thing to do because everybody uses Android software. Well, I mean, if on the Android side, you might have your own flavor of it, which Samsung does. Then you add your own processor in there. You know, you make more of the hardware. Samsung makes a lot of their own hardware. So overall, it's coming into this individualistic way that Samsung can market this to folks, saying we make basically the whole phone and we make the software and customize it in a way that most companies or other companies don't. We sell our own processor inside the phone. So there's some good things coming from this. Today was really, at least so far anyway, nothing's really come out in the tech news that's of any interest really, at least from what I can see. But I do have a bunch of good questions from you guys, so I'm gonna go and roll with that. And the first question comes from Shajil Sazad. Do you think we will see something like a Galaxy S10e? Because I'd rather much prefer that over the FE or the FU, it's the FU edition, which is what I'd call it. Oh, okay, I get it, it's a joke. Do I think we'll see an S10e? Well, obviously you're talking about like an S22e or S23e, like a smaller version of the phone. No, because that's what the S22 is, pretty much. So no, I don't think you're gonna see an E version at all. I think they'll stick with the FE. Phil PJ Davis says, can you transfer Windows Music audio music files to Samsung Music app and music and Windows files from an HP PC to the Tab S8 Ultra? Samsung said yes, but looking for confirmation. Didn't you ask me this like 3 weeks ago, Phil? I've never tried it. I don't see why you couldn't. You could use that app I always talk about, which is called Send Anywhere, and send it that way to yourself, and then look for those files within your music player. And even if the default music player doesn't play it, there should be a music player on Android that will do it for you. So that's what I would do. Phil PJ Davis is back. If the Fold 4 is almost a square, what's the point of having a landscape or portrait mode that uses the gyro? Couldn't just get rid of the gyro and create more space and use a software feature. My problem is with the smaller battery and no gyro, could create enough space for an S Pen silo. So to answer your question, the gyroscope I don't think is taking up too much space in this to the point where they couldn't put, you know, the S Pen in a bigger battery. I think ultimately they want to make a skinnier phone because I think the greater majority of the people want a lighter, skinnier phone, especially when they see this phone. The reason being is when you show somebody the Z Fold 3, they're like, wow, that's usually the first impression. What a phone is that? That's crazy, that's awesome. Oh my God, the videos are huge. I could watch, that's like a little tablet. And yes, all of those are true, but then the other half of it is when you probe deeper and you're like, would you buy this phone at $1,700, $1,800? No, I wouldn't buy it, that's too much. And then the other part of it is you show them, would you want this phone? Don't even ask them the price, tell them the price. They're like, it's kind of big, probably not. And that's why I think they want to make this phone skinnier, because it's not gonna necessarily get smaller, because that's the point of it. It's like a big screen that you can close up and make small, and as they make it skinnier, it's gonna feel smaller at the same time. So that's why I think that they're trying to make this smaller and not worrying so much about the battery and the S Pen insertions.
He said insertions.
And our last question comes from Original Ask Place, asking about the S23 Ultra. Will it have the 200 megapixel camera sensor? And will the S23, S23 Plus have the 108 megapixel camera? So I don't think the S23 and S23 Plus will have 108 megapixel sensors. I think those will stick with the 50 megapixel sensors, obviously slightly updated. The S23 Ultra would not surprise me if it had a 200 megapixel camera sensor, but at the same time wouldn't surprise me if it didn't. If I had to lock it down and guess, I'm gonna say it's not gonna have the 200 megapixel. I think it'll stick with the 108 megapixel, and they'll call it like the fourth generation of it, or whatever. Whatever they want to call it, they'll call it something so that it spices up the name of it a little bit. So that's, yeah, I think that's what they'll end up doing. So there you guys go. That is your questions. If you have a question, story of the day, and only story of the day, has to do with the screen protector on the Galaxy Z Fold 3. And how for some people it's coming up already. I'm gonna read you a tweet and then we'll dive into some thoughts after that. So this tweet is coming from the Galox, and he's looking to say that he's having some issues, saying that the inner screen protector of my Galaxy Z Fold 3 has started to peel off from the top center of the display. The same happened on my Z Fold 2. However, the screen protector on the Z Fold 3 lasted a lot longer before it started to peel. Now, before we dive too much into this, if you need to or want to, you can actually get that replaced. It should be for free through Samsung. You can call them, they can guide you to the next step of getting that replaced, but a lot of the time you can get it replaced locally through one of their third-party vendors they work with, or you can send it off to Samsung, I believe, and they'll send it back to you. But what I wanted to say is that for me, and you know, I've done videos on it, I take it off, not that. I take the screen protector off because of the fact that, I mean, I still have it on my newer replaced Galaxy Z Fold 3, but I can almost guarantee I'll take it off eventually. It just gets grimy and dirty. Even if you clean it, it still has like spots all over it, and it just gets gross. So I like taking the screen protector off and you know, whatever, it's fine. And then I noticed, I don't notice it so much now, but I noticed when we got our new replacements, me and my wife, you mean your wife and I, there you go, proper English. It ultimately looked like it was coming off, so I can feel it a little bit starting to peel just a little bit in the top right. The Galaxy is saying his is in the top middle. It's seeming to come off, but you know, what is it good for? It's good for scratches, but I haven't had any scratches on my phone. In the Z Fold 2, I didn't have any scratches. The Z Fold 3, I didn't either. I just had the stretch marks in the middle, which the screen protector is not going to stop a stretch mark from happening. So the way I look at it is, if the same thing's happening to you, just peel the damn thing off. If you want to get a replacement, contact Samsung, get a free replacement. Otherwise, you should be absolutely fine with a great case on there and no screen protector, unless you're really digging at it on there. Again, you should be fairly safe with not having that on there. Story of the day has to do with the processor that will be in the Galaxy Z Flip 4. We are finally seeing some benchmarks, and I do want to say that the processor is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, which really isn't that big of a surprise. And I have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 in my Vivo X Fold, and I got a score, I just ran it before this video, of 1237 on the single core and 3545 on the multi-core. So let's check out what the Z Flip 4 got. So this tweet's coming from Ice Universe saying, breaking! Z Flip 4 Geekbench got a score of 1277 on the single core and 3642 on the multi-core, and it's gonna have a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 Plus. So I guess I forgot the plus. My Vivo X Fold just has the regular 8 Gen 1. The Gen 1 Plus has a little bit better performance, running on the 4 nanometer processor with 3.19 gigahertz
processor and a 2.75 and a 1.8. So when we look at that score, I got a better single core, but I mean, it's gonna fluctuate whenever you run it. And then the multi-core score, 3545 versus 3642. So it's not a huge bump. It's a little bit of difference. And again, maybe the Z Flip 4 would get a better score after, whatever. If they ran it the third time, or, they ran it in an hour, or whatever they do, they might get something like that. When I ran it twice. I ran it May 19th and May 14th. May 14th, I got a score of 1230 and 3416. And then today, 1237 and 3545. So my multi-cores, actually both scores were slightly higher. So the plus version of the processor, not looking overwhelmingly amazing. Usually it's somewhere between 10 to 15% better performance, sometimes not even that. But in day-to-day operation, you probably won't notice anything. It's really gonna be when you do more intense processes where you might see a little bit of an inkling of better performance. And again, nothing too crazy. Your first story of the day has to do with Bill Gates, the guy that helped create Microsoft and he might even still be, I think he's one of the majority shareholders of Microsoft, or he owns a lot of it, enough to where he's like still one of the richest men in the world. And what phone, you might be wondering, does he use? Well, guess what, guys? He's a smart guy. Because why? He uses the same exact phone as Mr. Greggles TV. His phone, and we got this information from a Reddit Ask Me Anything. He uses the Galaxy Z Fold 3. He went on to say about this when they asked, what's your phone? He said, I have an Android Galaxy Z Fold 3. I tried different ones. With this screen, I can get by with a great portable PC and the phone and nothing else. So pretty impressive that he's using this phone instead of a Microsoft Surface Duo 2, right? Kind of weird, but I don't know. I like this phone a lot better than the Surface Duo 2 as well. I mean, Surface Duo 2 is kind of interesting, but this phone is just better in almost every single way. Next up are some Galaxy Buds 2 that are, it looks like they're out, and they're only going to be out in South Korea. That's the bad part. But the cool part is, if you're a Pokemon fan, maybe you could import these somehow or buy them on eBay maybe, and this is kind of cool. So check this out. These are the Galaxy Buds 2 Pokemon Monster Ball cover package. They go for about $105-ish when you convert the won into USD, and you get a bunch of stickers that come along with it. If you get this little package of Pokemon Galaxy Buds 2, the buds themselves are just black, which is kind of unfortunate, and the case is just regular black, but then you get this little Pokemon addition to it, which is kind of cool. So check that out. Would you want these? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next story is about the processor that will be inside of the Galaxy Z Flip 4 and Galaxy Z Fold 4. And we know it's going to be a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 Plus, but we kind of knew, but now we're getting official announcement of just how much better that processor is versus the one that's, say, in the Galaxy S22 Ultra, which I have. That's not it. Man, it's over there. Over there. It's in a tripod right now. How much better it's going to be than that Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. So here we go. Check this out. So first of all, we're seeing a tweet, and I'm pulling these tweets even though it's official information, just because it's written a little bit easier, saying that Ice Universe is saying the Snapdragon 8 Plus, or 8 Gen 1 Plus, has been released. It's a 4 nanometer process. Frequency has been increased, and overall power consumption has decreased by 15%. And when we look at another text, this time from the Galox, saying the new Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 is going to be 10% faster GPU, 10% faster CPU, up to 30% more efficient, and 20% AI per watt. This is all compared to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. The Snapdragon said that it will be live alongside live alongside the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, and the chip will not be discontinued. So what can you look forward to? The big takeaway from this is that a phone that has an 8 Gen 1 Plus and a phone that has an 8 Gen 1, the 8 Gen 1 Plus should have better battery usage, even though it's more powerful And not crazy more powerful, but even though it's more powerful in the CPU side and GPU side, it's also going to be better with battery consumption. So you should see better battery life when you compare two similar sized batteries with those two different processors side by side. So the Z Fold Flip 4 and the Z Flip 4 should have better battery life than, or not better battery life, but better battery life than phones that are on the Samsung side with very similar battery sizes. And we'll definitely have to see and put that to the test as time gets closer. Our first and only story of the day is about the Pixel Watch, a device that the most recent information we heard is going to use basically like a 3 to 4 year old processor inside, the same processor the original Galaxy Watch used. But we're hearing some new information, and some of this is really, really good information. So let's just jump into it. So this information is coming from 9to5 Google, and let's go into this list of things that they have leaked out. So first of all, Pixel Watch will still use that Exynos 9110 processor, which at the end of the day, come on, why are you using such an old processor? I don't really know why. Well, it's weird, but maybe it keeps costs extremely low and performance pretty good. So we'll run with that. Second, low power processor will be included. So not only will you get the Exynos 9110, but you'll get like a co-processor on there to handle some of the lighter tasks that are on the device, such as maybe always on display, measuring of certain things, so stuff like that. It also will come with more RAM than the Galaxy Watch 4. It's rumored to have more than 1.5 gigabytes of RAM, probably 2 gigabytes, most likely. That's what it sounded like. It said, the story says a little bit more than the Galaxy Watch 4. I mean, could they put 1.75? Yeah, but I don't even know if they make them in those increments. So I'm gonna say 2 gigabytes most likely of RAM on there. 32 gigabytes of onboard storage. What can you do with that? You can store your music files, you can store your apps, any other kind of data that you're saving on there will house onto that, and 32 gigabytes is a great amount of storage for a watch. Heart rate sensor monitor will be on there, blood oxygen, and you'll be able to also test your ECG levels as well. So great, a very typical type of monitoring and things for the watch. You're not going to get any, at least what we know so far. It doesn't seem like you'll be able to, capture your temperature like the new Realme watch that's out and the rumored future Galaxy watches that will potentially have it. But so far it's looking more exciting than it did a week or two ago when we heard that it had a 4-year-old processor in there. We'll keep our eyes peeled on this. As more information comes out, I will let you guys know. What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily, your source for daily tech news. Make sure you subscribe so you know what's going on in the world of tech. I am currently, at the time of making this video, at the hotel. We're about to go to Disney. We went to California Adventure yesterday, which is right across from Disney, and today we're actually going to go to Disneyland. And today's tech news is, there wasn't, when I looked, because I haven't actually recorded a news video in over 24 hours, even though I released one yesterday. And there's really no news, but I did get a bunch of questions for you, so we're just gonna roll with that. And I don't really have any music or editing on this because I'm doing this on my phone. I didn't bring my computer. I was worried about it getting stolen, so I just didn't bring it. So let's do it. First question is gonna come from Dave saying, hey Greg, I want to get the Watch 5 Pro. What would be the better deal if I get the Flip 4 and watch, or wait for the S23 and watch? I have the S22 to trade in and hope Samsung will have a deal. So I'm not sure what the better deal is, because usually Samsung gives incredible deals when they release a phone and like a watch at the same time. Sometimes it's so good that you'll either pay nothing for the watch or you'll pay a little bit for the watch. So I think either way, you'll probably make out. If you wait, you could probably still get some good trade-in offers, like when the S23 comes out, and get a watch that way. So I think either way would probably be about the same if I had to guess at the end of the day. Next question comes from Joey saying, do you think that the Z Fold 4 will have a gap when closed like the Z Fold 3 and have it completely shut like the Oppo Find N? I don't know, honestly. If I had to guess, my arm's getting super tired right now already holding this thing. My guess would be that there's probably still going to be some kind of slight gap, but I'd also be surprised if there wasn't, due to the fact that the phone's going to be thinner, supposedly one hinge instead of two.
made a little bit stronger. So it wouldn't surprise me either way, but I guess I'll say there's going to be no hinge or no gap, but I have no idea because they haven't really talked about it yet. Let's go to our next set of questions. Sorry, this is like, the font is kind of small for me. I don't know whose name this is. I cut it off when I took the screenshot, so sorry. But it says, I have an S22 Ultra and the S8 Tab. About a month ago, I synced the tablet and my S22 Ultra with Samsung Flow. For some reason, several of the Samsung SMS friend messages files are now missing months of messages prior tonight, that original date. Is there any, I guess you're gonna say, is there any way of getting it back? I'm trying to think. Well, if you use Google Backup, I believe you can get your message. I believe those are backed up. So check. Oh God, I honestly I'm not sure. I'm gonna plead the fifth. I am not sure on that one. I haven't had that problem, and I don't care enough about my text messages, so I am just not sure about that one. So I'm gonna have to say I don't know, unfortunately. Next up, we have, sorry for this crazy video, Shajil Sazad saying more of a statement, just talking about the speed of the charges because it degrades the battery. Yeah, because recently I showed a video of the Vivo X Fold getting really fast charging, under 40 minutes, which was really impressive. But you know what? The degrading of the battery, I gotta believe it's a little bit overhyped, especially when 65, it charges 66 watts, but that's not super crazy compared to 45 watts. It's faster, but it's not like super crazy, like, oh my God, this is gonna completely kill my battery. So I wouldn't worry about it that much on that phone. And then he drops a last question about why do I buy iPhones? Because I agree. Well, I buy iPhones, for me personally, I mean, a lot of people might think they're boring, but I buy an iPhone for my channel, just so because sometimes it's good to compare it, or some people are just interested in iPhones for that point. That's why I buy it, but people buy iPhones in general because they're easy to use. They have great customer support. There's a store in almost every city nearby somebody, and they're really good, well made. They're like really good products. The software is solid. I mean, they're fine. They're great. To me, it's boring, but for a lot of other people, it's perfectly fine. So I think that's why people buy it, and I buy it for the reason I said it. Thank you so much, guys. Your question of the day is, have you ever been to Disney? And if you have, what's your favorite park? I haven't been to Disney World since 1989. So Disneyland, I'd probably say Disneyland's probably my favorite park, even though I don't really remember Disney World. All the other parks are cool. I've been to Legoland nearby where I am, and Universal. I look at Universal. Universal's pretty cool. But let me know about you guys. Have a great day. I'll be back to my normal studio tomorrow, and we'll see you down the road. Peace.